Hi, welcome to HR Tuesday Tips with the Millers. I'm Lori Miller,
And I'm Janine Miller.
and we have been focusing on these YouTube videos on a series of topics. And we started last week with our next segment of about 6 videos that we're going to be doing talking about HR sensitive workplace issues. Last week we talked about transgender issues, what you need to be aware of. And today we're going to continue on that path. And we're going to talk about what the EEOC is actually requiring that you need to have. So let me ask you, Janine, what are some of the things that the EEOC is now requiring that organizations need to have in place and be cognizant of?
Okay, so I'm going to focus on these very specifically. We already talked about the policies that have to be updated if you saw last week's segment. Excuse me. So now we have to make sure that the policies focus on coverage of transgender specifically, but also the prohibited behavior against them from employees or customers. So you need to be sure you specifically state that in your policies. Employees need to understand also that deliberately referring to a transgender person by his or her biological gender or his or her original name is considered discrimination and harassment by the EEOC. That does come up. My clients, I've had questions on that already. So just keep that in mind as well. If the transgender employee requests a change to his or her name or designation as male or female in company records, the employer should do it and completely without asking to see medical records. Our understanding is a transgender employee should be allowed to use the restroom commensurate with their gender identity as well, so keep that in mind. The employer's health benefit plan should not have exclusions based only on sex. Annual training, here we go again with that. It includes discrimination based on gender identity, sex stereotyping, and gender dysphoria. This needs to be included, and it's required training for all employees. And then you need to go that next level and make sure that your leaders and supervisors and managers get more intensive training related to topics of harassment, discrimination, and that again is an annual type of training they need. Those who investigate discrimination or harassment complaints should have specific training as well. I handle this for my clients because it's important to understand the accepted professional standards for identifying possible discrimination or retaliation and all related matters, including witness interviews, evidence gathering, required notes, and the legal analysis of the results. So you have to keep those things in mind as well. It's a very sensitive topic, and people handling it need to know exactly how to handle it appropriately.
Yeah, and you talked about a lot about the requirements. I know we do a lot of training, we do a lot of communications, and we have policies in place because they have to be there legally and ethically. Same thing when it comes to training. Many times we think, it's nice to do it, but when it comes to this issue, you have to do some training. And I can't say enough about making sure that you customize the training based on your environment. You have training for all levels of all employees within the organization. You also do specific management training so they know what they can and cannot do, and making sure you have zero tolerance for any type of discrimination, harassment in the workplace. So when you take a look at all of your policies, your communications, and your training plans, this needs to be something that you're keeping your eye on and you have a good customized approach that you're doing on a regular basis.
Okay. So that's it for today.
Yeah, so hopefully we've given you some things to think about and understanding when it comes to transgender issues. That will conclude the 2 segments that we're doing on transgender issues. And then when we get back next Tuesday, we're going to be actually taking a look at providing family leave benefits and some of the changes that are actually happening. So please stay tuned, relax, sit back. We got this.